Tom, just good timing. Good timing. I pushed the button. I think it got all of that. Welcome to the 223rd edition of me being live. Well, I've been live all 223 times. I should, maybe adjust it for the number of times I've been live. But either way, this is the Thursday episode 223 of Tom's life in the computer business. And while this ramps up, we can always talk about the hot sauce or the hot mustard. This is actually a hot mustard. It is called Colon Cleanser. And I figured, I talked last time about Steve-O and his hot sauce for your butt. That is the actual name of it that we'll talk about. Professor Fard Pounders. Wow, that's Colon Cleanser. New and improved and all natural. This is actually a mustard-based hot sauce, if I remember. It's pretty good. We often do these. We keep bottles of everything lined up. Man, I didn't have one. I was going to grab it because I like this one, but I got to admit there's an Inner Beauty sauce that we have that maybe I'll talk about sometime too. That's really good. But this stuff's not bad at all. I definitely would recommend it. I think it's probably, I don't know if it's on our list or not. We need to update our hot sauce page to add more things. But what we are going to talk about today, besides all of that, is going to be UniFi video. I am going to be doing some updated videos on it. And we've been deploying more of them because what happened was, let's give a history. Let me pull this up first because I want to have it all up and ready. Where's the I need which camera? Which camera should I pull here? Let's pull the G3 Instant. And switch screens. Woohoo! Look at that. This is the little G3 Instant camera, and then we'll do a live view of it here, which I can then point it at this screen, which points it at that screen. That looks cool, right? That's what it looks like. That's what's on the other side there. So all the different things. Hey, look, that's the microphone. Anyways, this is one of the cooler things I wish they had more of is this makes this kind of a better camera system. But let's actually talk about the history of UniFi because a lot of people don't like the UniFi camera system with decent reason. So what happened here is UniFi came out with UniFi Video. It was really cool. It was fairly innovative. It was different than some of the other products on the market. And I thought it was a good idea. And so did a lot of other people who jumped on it like I did and started selling it, going, hey, we can build the server. There's no license fees. The cameras are a little pricey, but you make it up for not having to pay any recurring license fees on this. And you could build your own server. And I think UniFi realized right away, having people build their own server and us as consultants who offer lots of help to people, most of the problems we ran into with UniFi Video were people who built the servers wrong or didn't understand the needs of a video server and managing all those streams. They just go, I can just use some box I have, and not thinking that you have to use a box that's powerful enough for the powerful file system, or specifically we'd build these with, RAID arrays to be able to handle the volume of data, and people wouldn't do that and try to figure out why one, Western Digital Purple drive couldn't handle 50 cameras. Nonetheless, the problems were a lot related to that with UniFi Video, and UniFi decided to stop making UniFi Video. I was even more angered, of course, the fact that they decided to disable their cloud access to it as well. Now, this left us in kind of a conundrum. We sold a lot of these systems, and they replaced it with UniFi Protect, but not right away. And this is where it was very aggravating because, well, they did it in a way where they kind of advertised it to the people with some of the updates. And so that was a problem. The original Protect only worked on the cloud key, and advertising to someone, just how they do the other cloud stuff, and they say, hey, you should upgrade to a Dream Machine or something like that in their other software. It also decided to do something similar where it said, hey, you should switch to UniFi Protect, but we only offer this cloud key. And telling someone with 25 cameras they should switch to a cloud key doesn't make much sense. So that was definitely annoying. You know what I mean? It wasn't a great transition. But what came out of it and where they've gone with the UniFi Protect system actually is pretty cool. So I as much as you may not like the company for what they did over there, swing it around the other way, they've done a pretty good job with UniFi Protect and making it a solid product and making it an easier to use product than a lot of the other things on the market. The exception being, I know there's some easy to use cloud hosted ones, but those cloud hosted ones are substantially more expensive and are for different clients than the ones that need this. This is great for small offices. And matter of fact, we're selling another little pizza place on one. They have the older UniFi video. They want to upgrade the NVR. So a lot of these were drop-in replacements for that. But in a big picture, they're actually one that is the most trouble-free when we hand it to a user to use. They just work, and the user goes, I understand this. This looks great. This is easy to use. So that's one of the reasons we've been selling a lot of them. But I thought I'd bring it up because people ask, like, what's the status of it? And, you know, we've been slowly flipping everybody over to these devices and moving them over, but we've actually still done some new sales as well for small offices because I like the Synology, and I still think the Synology is a good solution. Synology, though, if you have one of those business owners who wants to constantly log in, see things, and look at stuff all the time, I got to admit the UniFi works nicer than the Synology for that. It's also way easier. There's less labor in deploying it. Synology, you got to go through and set up all the cameras. UniFi, you just plug them all in the same network. They all adopt on the same subnet, and you're done. It's just, it becomes an ease of use standpoint, and that's been a good selling point on these. And I know some people are going to probably still not like these, but yeah, it's just one of those things. They're so easy to sell. They're fairly affordable. I wish they had more of these little G3 instant cameras. These have constantly, best I can tell, are on back order all the time. And I think they still limit them to this day, at least here in April of 2021, to one per customer. They're really cool little wireless cameras. Obviously wired because it needs power, but wireless because it doesn't need a network cable. And, you know, setting these up, a few people I know were able to get their hands on like a few of them and build a small network of these cameras, and it's just nice. It just works. So these are, yeah, this is one of those, it's as much as I might be somewhat anger or bitter at UniFi, you look at the big picture of things going, what's an easy thing for people to use? What's that? Now, looking at the UniFi Protect system overall, go over here. I should switch screens so you can see what I'm over here doing. And looking at it, being able to, let's look at the dashboard, for example, and look at the different events, who stopped in. Hey, look, it's this guy. I can jump right to when I came in. What was this morning? Oh, that's me going out the door. Oh, that's just before this. But they put these timelines together so you can figure things out, like what happened when. Vehicle detection, which is kind of cool. I can see vehicles that are behind the building or like someone driving behind my building. The Tesla's not here. My wife keeps taking the Tesla, but other people are here. So there's someone driving through the alley. There's the vehicle detection working. They've really took it from a basic system to a moderate system. It's not super advanced. It's not going to compete with the super expensive ones, but it doesn't really have to because those ones are not going to be sold to a small pizza place. Trying to get a little small pizza place in our area to buy a expensive cloud-based object detection system and pay the recurring fees, it's not their market. It's not what they need. They just kind of need to do the basics, and this really does cover it. Now, the nice thing about these units as well is they've kind of moved to the RAID array, you know, so you can put a few drives in there and set that up for expansion. That's a nice feature that is very automated. Once again, doesn't take much to set it up or configure it. And my overall on these, because we now have enough of these out in the field to have some feedback to people who ask the question of how well does it work? Does it break a lot with updates and things like that? Yes, no. We actually found a couple problems. If they do miss an update, sometimes you have to go in manually and kind of force them to the new version, which wasn't really difficult other than you have to SSH in to do it. But overall, no, nothing broke. I didn't have to reload or reconfigure any of these for that. And reliability wise, knock on wood, none of the ones we've had out in the field have failed at all. And this is one that's actually destined for a client. We have ours running right there that we're doing it. This one's not actively on, but this is just another one getting ready to be deployed. So like I said, overall, I'm pretty impressed with them. And I thought I'd, bring it up. I'm going to do a specific dedicated video talking about getting these things going and setting it up so I can do like a 2021 review. But I thought it'd be something to bring up on the live channel. and, you know, kind of bring up for discussion, see what people wanted to know. That way, before I create the videos, there's some specific thing you want to know. I will be covering some of the cameras. I see people talking about, yeah, I believe they have an early access store, a larger NVR, which is cool because there's no official way. I know there's hacky ways to do it, but there's no official way to back this up to a larger data set, so to speak. Not necessarily back it up as much as maybe you just want to attach it to an even larger storage beyond the capacity of the 4 drives in here. That's not been something that they've offered. I think they should be more aggressive on that, or just have a mount option. If they offered an SMB mount where this was the head end and they allowed me to have just a share mount on the same network, that would be great. You know, these are features that would be awesome on this. There's workarounds to make that work, but I wish it was officially supported. Let me catch up on the comments. Easier to go with Synology as a replacement for the antiquated NVR system. Yeah, in some cases, I mean, we're still doing the Synology ones. Those are still something we're doing. It's not as if there's one solution that fits every client. That's one of the hugest things I try to tell people. It doesn't always work. It's not like there's just this solution. It's the only solution we offer. We're a little bit more diverse. I know more companies, and granted, it takes less skills to niche into a single product. When you support multiple products, yes, the challenge goes up because you have to maintain knowledge on multiple product base. But being more flexible will allow you to have more opportunities. So that's kind of the business side of that as well. You know, if you only have one solution, you try to give that client that one solution all the time, and that's it. And then people will sometimes, you know, compete against you and not have a better solution that you don't offer, and therefore land that particular job. Let's see. Peak to places don't have the dough for an expensive system. True dat, and wonderful use of the pun. Can you use these cameras on NVRs, or do you have to use UniFi? I highly recommend, if you have a UniFi, that you are using it with the UniFi. There's people who told me there's weird hacky ways to do it. Highly not recommended. Use the UniFi cameras with the UniFi system and vice versa. There's like ways you can get the UniFi cameras to stream to other systems, but it's very much not ideal. Grayson, thank you for the $5 donation. You just received an ingenious AP, and you're liking it so far. No more UniFi controller. Only downside is max 12 characters for username and password. That's weird. It's a strange limitation, but you know, that happens. Synology is a good NVR, especially because with Synology, it's sometimes a better drop-in for clients who had a failed NVR because you can bridge it to different devices. You can say, all right, they have a hodgepodge of cameras, and one of the things I believe I covered on this channel before is Synology connecting to I think it's a Dahua converter of BNC. So we did this for a client so they could still use a few BNC cameras they didn't want to rerun. They were fine with the mediocre quality they had, but they wanted to do that combined with some new cameras that were nice and high res. Synology will let you mix and match. So Synology's a nice solution for when you have a variety of cameras that you want to bring together. So definitely cool. Are these NVR stackable? They are not. There's not any way to do that, and it's another thing that would be kind of cool. If they just made them stackable, that would be great, but you can register multiple cloud accounts. I know someone may ask this question. I'll definitely be clear on this in the video, and it'll be some of the upfront things. This does require cloud registration with UniFi, which I'm not a fan of, because that kind of locks you into any product that requires cloud registration. If that company, decide to stop offering that registration, then you suddenly don't have a way to ever re-register that product. This is, the earliest product I can think of that burned people on that was probably the Sony MP3 players, if people remember those. We're going back a lot of years, but it was one of those things. So when they discontinued them, and I think maybe the Zune was affected like this too. When these products got discontinued, all the music apps that were tied to the Sony music service died, and you couldn't get any of the things you paid for after you bought it, and the device quit working. So I think it was a Sony. That goes back a number of years, but the concept's still the same. When something forces you to only be cloud, that company then gets to dictate the future of that particular product and, of course, the life cycle of that product. You can't say, well, it's end of life, I can keep using it. No, it is tied to a cloud registration, and you don't get to keep using it. So that can be kind of annoying. Let's see. Someone said they like it better than the Ring. Definitely. Ring is a popular one, but yeah, the cloud-based ones start adding up really quick. I'm aware of Digital Watchdog. Usually, I haven't done much with Digital Watchdog. I've heard a few people say they like it. We've used the one by Tyco owns it, and I can't remember their name at the moment. It's right. I've said it a million times on live stream, but this live stream, it fell out of my head. But yeah, there's a couple other ones out there that we've used that are Exact Vision. That's the other one. We seem to see more of that in the school districts we work with, and we've had a few Exact Vision clients. The Exact Vision's not as user-friendly, but definitely, for the entire school districts that we work with, some of them have really big consolidated servers, so it's good for scalability. Hey, Willie Housen here. Yeah, don't use UniFi cameras with anything else. Willie is right. Nailed it on the head there. Let's see. Why do we avoid any of those DVRs that require the plugins? The problem is I think they were all derived from the same code base, and there was a ton of these. Basically the lowest quality branded ones that all had some weird Internet Explorer plugin with required ActiveX to get them to work. Yeah, those are just terrible. There's a lot of them out there, and they're probably still being sold here in 2021, unfortunately. Matter of fact, I've seen door access systems that require Flash, and they were sold recently. We took over some clients who were like, what is this garbage? There's a lot of goofy stuff out there like that. Just low code quality is what I would describe. Is there a QoS with the UniFi platform? I don't use their firewalls, so I don't know. They have some checkboxes for it, but I don't think they give you many options. I've never used it. So I got not much on. Yeah, Willie knows the Exact Vision system. We don't use UniFi firewalls, so I don't think about traffic shaping in terms of those firewalls at all. So not something I consider with. I just did a review of Omada versus the TP-Link Omada versus the UniFi, and I said the same thing. Don't use the TP-Link firewall because they copied all the flaws of the UniFi series of firewalls. They're not great. They're limited in options, and nothing I would say are the USG line and the UniFi Dream Machine. I would not say it's a great firewall. Not if you need features. If you just go, I want the internet to work, I would say they're a step above whatever garbage that your internet provider provided you, and that's it. That's where I categorize them. Hikvision is bad for the plugins. Yeah. I've not used the Wise cameras. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, Willie says they have smart queue and they have a fair queue. So yes. Oh man. Yeah, people are disappointed when they say they need QoS. The UniFi is just. I don't know why they have such bad firewalls. They've had years of people complaining about it to do something about it. They just kind of go, let's invent something else. Let's go into the door access world. Like, I don't know. They're a big company. They should be able to put the resources towards. I know it's not easy. I mean, I'm not asking them, to do something that's outlandish or anything like that. But there's examples, plenty of them out there of firewalls that work quite well. So. Yes. I think I see the people are asking one of the questions. Yes, this is actually interesting, and we'll cover this real quick. The RTSP is an option for these cameras. So that is how you could make these work with another system. Matter of fact, I was playing with it. I was looking at my TV that I display things on. I had one of them set up to use one of these cameras as a feed. You can pull an RTSP stream out of the camera to feed it into something else. That's not ideal though for an NVR. It's kind of a novel thing I can do with OBS Studio, which we use for the live streaming and my recording. It's a novel way to handle that. It's not a great way to handle an NVR. So you can connect these to other systems by doing just that, but you're not gonna get the best results. That's why it's a less than optimal situation. Oh yeah, the Great Wall security systems. I remember those. Let's see. Synology, QNAP, Blue Iris. I'm not a big fan of Blue Iris, but I still a lot of people like it. It runs on Windows is my only issue with it, so. The Wise cams are neat because they're so inexpensive. But the other thing that's actually kind of cool, and I've talked about this before, is building your own Raspberry Pi cameras. There's a tool called Motion Eye, and I've done a video on it on my channel. It's a really cool Raspberry Pi project and really slick for doing building a series of them. I thought about playing with it because there's a project that moved it over so you can use TrueNAS, and this would be a really cool thing to do. I think it's cool for home. I would not sell this commercially, but I think it's a neat project to use a bunch of Raspberry Pi cameras and tie it to a TrueNAS system. So you can actually run Motion Eye in a jail. I seen a project for this, and then you would tie all your Raspberry Pi cameras, which are reasonably high resolution and reasonably priced. I mean, when you put together that, and granted, no, it doesn't have an outdoor housing. That would be a separate project. But I thought that might be kind of neat. So last time I looked at ZoneMinder, I felt it was a very incomplete project, but I got to admit, I haven't looked at it recently. Someone sent me one and I lost the bookmark for it because someone said it in the chat and I thought I bookmarked it. All I did was put it in a tab. There's actually another Linux-based open source NVR project. There's actually, well, I can't say one. There's actually two more. One we did look at. If you said the name of it, I'd remember it. Then there's another one that's a paid one. It's not open source, I should say. It just runs on Linux and has like a Shinobi's the one I have played with. It's been a while since I looked at Shinobi. It was novel, but also incomplete. Maybe it was Blue Cherry. They had a paid service. And maybe I should relook at Shinobi, see how the project's doing. It's been a minute. Yeah, I think Blue Cherry DVR. This looks like the other one. I've not tested this, but someone had suggested it before, and it looks pretty novel. It looks more complete and does have licensing with it. So I don't mind if there's licensing if the software is quality. It's like sometimes you got to pay for good software, and I'm okay with this as long as it's not some forced cloud-enabled, thing like we were talking about. I'd prefer it not to be, but hey, this is the other one. So now I'm actually going to drag it to the bookmarks here. Things. There we go. It is now dragged into the bookmarks folder, so I will officially, when I get a chance, take a look at it. Or have one of my staff look at it. Sometimes I delegate looking at things because I get busy doing other things. So you got to delegate that out. Yes. What else do we have in here? So thank you for mentioning Blue Cherry there, Austin. Much appreciated. Frigate with Home Assistant, but requires tinkering. Yeah, that sometimes is the problem. It's like I don't want something that turns into a overly complex project. I mean, those are fun to do as a hobby, but I like something that's like, okay, this works, it's stable, I can, put it together and continuously use it. That can be kind of cool. ZoneMinder seems to be working well for Mike. Well, that's good. It's been a while since I looked at it. I'm sure the project's gotten updated, but I remember when I looked at it a while ago, I'm like, this is, I don't know. It didn't have some of the things I thought it should have. I'm trying to remember. I didn't keep good notes back then of when I reviewed software. Now I try to keep better notes of what I don't like about something if I have to reference it. So. Can you VLAN the inside and outside cameras? Synology supports VLANs, therefore you can set them up with VLAN. So yes, you can VLAN a Synology. How you want to VLAN it, for things that's up to you. But they can be VLANed. One of my staff had tried Shinobi, and they told me what they didn't like about it. But one of them, I think, was the CPU issues. If they're online and they can jump in, they may comment. I think Eric had used it. Eric or Kyle, one of them, or maybe both of them, had used it. But as long as you set up the VLANs right with Synology, shouldn't be a problem. All right. Backing things up is another topic I wanted to talk about. I will be doing a video on how we do all the backups here, because I think that comes up a lot, and I haven't done a video a while, and really broke down how we back things up. But before I did that, Backblaze is part of our backup, so I went ahead and put a new video together of how we use Backblaze with TrueNAS and how we do bucket storage. I think that's one of those things that gets confused, and people are like, oh, you shouldn't put it in the cloud and da-da-da-da-da. And then I, of course, right away, this is one of the things I make sure I cover in the video is, yes, I encrypt everything before we back it up. This is actually a compliance thing we have to do for a lot of our clients, or any personal information. You have to make sure that gets backed up, and you have to make sure that gets backed up encrypted prior to it leaving the server. It should be encrypted at rest on the server. It should also be encrypted once it's at rest in whatever cloud provider you back up to. So I'll be breaking down some of those backups. It's one of those things, like there is a series of things and the methods we use to back it up, because it comes down to importance. And it's not like just daily backups. Some of these backups have to be run hourly. And of course, they're all automated, but that's a big piece of it, making sure each of these systems are automatically going, automatically grabbing the files, and automatically backing up. And I will just go over some of the concepts of how we do it, and just to give some ideas of things. And it may help people who want to build some of their backup systems for their setups. And it varies with clients, because once again, with clients, it's not like there's a solution for everything. So I may do a separate video and talk about some of the different ways we do it with clients. But Backblaze is one of the ones I wanted to talk about that I did. That's why I did the video that got published just before I went live. The Backblaze has been just a solid system. We take and back up Backblaze, for example, for all of our WordPress sites. We have an automated tool that backs up all the WordPress installs for all the hosting we do. We're not as big in the hosting business as we used to be. I'm mostly fading. We're actually winding it down, in case anyone wonders why I never bring up that we do any WordPress hosting. It's because we're on the out of it. I don't feel like doing it anymore. So we're moving away from it and selling off that business. But we do maintain the customers we do have, and we do back up all of the websites that are on there. And then we use a tool to get them all into Backblaze. And now this is kind of a cool thing, because you can also go into TrueNAS, go into the Backblaze account, and download everything back out of Backblaze, because now you're talking about, cloud backup to cloud backup, but then where's your off-site backup that you have, or in this case, on-site backup. So these are another feature. You just change it from push to pull in TrueNAS, and it allows you to bring all that data back down. It's a pretty cool feature overall, the fact that they have this in there. I just really like it, the way it's integrated into TrueNAS, and they support, of course, a lot of other cloud providers. Then combine that with some of the SyncThing. I'll be revisiting SyncThing. There's been some changes to it. I want to make sure all those are covered in how we use SyncThing, so I'll probably do some updated SyncThing videos. And of course, I'm working on the big picture, the updated TrueNAS 12 guide. I want to do a hardware talk about TrueNAS 12, because it seems to come up a lot, and I think all my hardware videos are at least 2 years old, so I'm going to bring back some new videos on talking hardware, and not just talking about buying a server from like 45 drives. That's a good option, but I know it's not necessarily the right option for some people when it comes to building your home lab, because, well, it's also a real expensive option. So yeah, we've been moving all the local clients to a digital marketing company as well. That's one of the things that's been, it's like just migrating them all over for doing just the whole maintenance thing and everything that goes to WordPress. WordPress used to be, reasonable and you could set it up. Now it's almost become not unreasonable, but it's a lot more work. There's a lot more updates to it and changes that have to be made to maintain security of it. And they require people to pay a little more. And people are always like, well, I thought it was just hosting and now it's hosting and WordPress updates. I'm like, yeah, here's a marketing company. They can answer those questions because we don't do as many of them anymore. Synology versus TrueNAS for 365 backup. If you're referring to Office 365, Synology has a tool for it. TrueNAS does not natively have a tool to back up Office 365. So you can use either one of them as storage destination, but Synology also includes the licensing for doing it. Okay, cool. You bought a new server via Unix Surplus. Yeah, there's some good deals to be had on some of the servers, for sure. Oh. Cool. All right. Make sure I got some things I still have to do before I leave today. I always got to make sure, keep an eye on the time, the calendar. So I check my phone once in a while. All the fun of running a business, making sure all that's there. I am not running this live stream too long, so what are some of the other questions people may have that they want to ask? I don't know if there's anything more to talk about with TP-Link Omada. I've talked about the Synology. I talked about the backups. Can you back up Google Drive to TrueNAS? Kind of. I'm still working on how that works. You can do, and actually I'll pull this up in TrueNAS. I don't think you can back up things from Google Drive, but you can't back up all of Google Drive, at least not that I'm aware of. Let me go ahead and look. So when you're setting it up, and we'll go here. What is it going to be? Cloud credentials. So I do have Google Drive set up in here. So you can set up Google Drive. It will pull from Google Drive, but I don't know that it will attach and back up everything. I got to look at what kind of document formats that are supported because Google Drive has their own. So I got to see what happens when you download it. Also, there's not a way to connect it to your Gmail backup, your calendar backup. So it may get some of the files out of Drive, but I don't know what it will do with the other stuff. Plus, it doesn't seem to have, I think in the credentials, let me go down here to the tasks. This is the second video because first thing I did was do the video on the Backblaze. And if I'm not mistaken, pull or sync. There's something about the way it works. I had backed up just this marketing folder. I did some testing with it and I was like, huh, this is interesting. But it didn't have, I believe, it won't synchronize the two folders at all. It synchronizes them either by pushing or pulling, but it won't two-way sync. So there's one thing, but as a backup, you should be able to do a pull sync and have it back up. But I just got to look and see what it backs up and how it backs it up. That way I understand what gets pulled from there and what doesn't. So that's going to be some testing I still have to go do on it. I'm going to do a separate video on it though. Yep. Oh yeah, looks like we had to block someone. Oh well. Ban hammer was dropped. That's his life. I didn't even see what it was. Which is probably for the better. Yeah, Protect is well beyond in video. Yeah, when it comes to the UniFi Protect system, they surpass the feature parity, I would say, compared to UniFi Video. Back to the Google topic. Let's see. Who listens to Doja? I don't know. Somebody does. You can not only back up Google Drive, it's actually kind of cool. If you have, and I was talking to a client, this is a solution they might need. They are using working on using a storage, well, part of the overall plan is putting in a storage server. They have certain marketing materials they need to share with another company. But what they want to do is some of that is video marketing, to be specific. They want to be able to create a folder or a share, so to speak, inside of TrueNAS and have it, anything they put in there automatically goes to Google Drive. That way they can have it in that same shared Google Drive. So the marketing company that needs those assets has instant access to it, well, as fast as it can be uploaded. So I want to play when I do the video on that, because it's not as much about backing it up. You can just back up your files, but Google Drive is not going to be the cheapest place to store them. It's more of a solution, being able to go, hey, these are where we want to drop these assets and have it automatically shared off-site. And by the way, TrueNAS does have support. If you go in here, system, under cloud accounts, cloud credentials, if we add them, this same solution can work with a few other places. Backblaze being one of my favorites. If you share things to a public Backblaze bucket, then you can create those shared download files. Google Drive being really simple, does support Google Cloud Storage. They do have Dropbox in here, Dropbox. And I have not tested this, but maybe this might be interesting to text. They have OneDrive. So you'll be able to share the data with this as a personal or business OneDrive. So if they're on the Office 365 platform, this should work and be viable as well. You just create the access tokens and drive ID in here, and away you go. So pretty neat. They also, and they do this both with OneDrive, which, like I said, I haven't tested, and the Google Drive, which is cool. Log into provider. This will pull up a window, so it will generate the API key and everything that you need to access this. It's actually a nice system, so you don't have to go into the Google API tool to find it. You say login to provider, and it brings up the login, and it does it on your behalf, essentially, to grab and fill in those for a particular folder. So they've done a nice job on it. I mean, it does work. I just haven't, until I do the video, because I'm not really providing it as a solution for anyone. We've proposed it. That's why I did the tests, but I do want to play with like the whole backing up all of it. That would be pretty cool. One company that doesn't make the best switch. All right, just following up with all the comments in here. Do not hit the like button. Oh yeah, play reverse psychology. There's 202 people, but only, how many likes are on here? So everyone can see, 47 likes. Come on, smash the bash the like button. Let's go ahead and get a few more people on here today. In other things I'm reviewing that I'll bring up, whoop, there, not that this, it's already in front of me. I haven't reviewed this yet because, I don't know, 2.5 gigs weird. It's cool, and I will review this, but I kind of want to make it part of another video because, I mean, it's a 2.5 gig switch. It does 2.5 gig. I'm not sure what else goes in this review. It's hard to do a review on a single device that has no management features. It's an unmanaged 2.5 gig switch that does 2.5 gig. Like, I figure I'm going to throw it in with some budget switch ideas. That seems like a good idea. So maybe I will cover that. That is in an upcoming video. I will revisit these Arubas. I'm also confused by some people that don't always make sense to me when they say this. Oh, UniFi forces you to have cloud registration. I'm going to go with Aruba Instant On. And I'm like, so you go with the company that forces, from a company that has a cloud key that has cloud registration to a company that only has cloud registration. Okay. I mean, Aruba's not a bad company. These seem to be pretty good, but I'm going to do some comparisons between this Aruba device and the TP-Link and a UniFi at my house. I was actually already measuring at my house because I wanted to do it in a house, not just in a studio, and see what the range is in my backyard. Because it seems like, all right, I'll set a static point in my backyard and I'll mount all these in the same exact spot in the house, turn them on one by one, run a series of tests and see the difference. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of different tests. I'm going to do one specific test at the same distance because I think it might be interesting. Maybe do it with some Wi-Fi 6 IPs that can handle 2.5 gig. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is why 2.5 gigs becoming popular. It's it's such budget to get 2.5. Just go 10 has kind of been my preference, but I guess if you don't have the budget for 10, 2.5 makes sense because 2.5 is a good in between. But the 10 gig switches are really coming down in price. So no, Tom will not down a whole bottle of hot sauce with 200 likes. Sorry about that. I am not doing such shenanigans. Yeah, I know a few people that really like these Arubas. The one thing of note about the Arubas is they take a lot longer to show up in the dashboard than the UniFi does. They seem to just have a longer boot time. But then again, you're not booting these up very often. So, yeah. The other challenge, and with the Wi-Fi specifically, is if you want something fast, you don't go Wi-Fi. If you want something absolutely solid, reliable, bulletproof connection, you're going to go hardline. And then if you're going to go hardline, is 2.5 gig your need, or is it, a 10 gig circuit? You can use Cat 6 over the shorter distances, has no problem with 10 gig. I think it's Cat 6 will go 30 meters at 10 gig. Cat 6A will do 100 meters at 10 gig. So it's not like it's a wiring. And by the way, I have a video, I think it's called like out of spec cable. You can get away with frequently, not going to certify. I know that. I'm not saying it will. And I'm not saying it's something we'd install for business. I'm speaking to the home lab crowd. Yes, you can run Cat 5 cable, get 10 gig over a quality Cat 5 cable over shorter distances without too much of a problem. So, have I tried Blue Iris? Yes, once. Didn't care for it. I found it convoluted and complicated, but it's popular. People like it. If you like it, use it. I'm not going to use it. If Blue Iris makes you happy, go for it. No, don't. There's already people reviewing it and have channels dedicated to talking about Blue Iris. It's not something I plan on doing at all. Entertain us geeks. Oh, yeah, people are trying to... Yeah, it's one of those days I'm rolling in the back of my head all the different things I have to reply to, so... we talked about Shinobi. I haven't used it in a long time. I don't know if the project got any better. I can look at their website, see if their website got any better. They had a nice website. Look at their website again. It looks the same. It's nice. Features, articles, forums. I like their bragging point. They're started versus there. JavaScript, C, Perl, and PHP. Maintained by author. Oh. Runs on. They're going right after the ZoneMinder market. Someone said it used a lot of CPU. I haven't used it in so long. I just don't know. So, yeah, I'll bookmark it again. Maybe I'll look at it. It's not high on my list of things to do because they're projects. They're not something... These aren't something we'll end up selling to clients. They're kind of like the hobby project videos I do. I have different, some videos I'm talking about solutions that we sell to clients. Other time I'm talking about, hobby projects like playing with Raspberry Pi. Now, because I use like the Raspberry Pi Motion Eye project, that's an active project I use. Therefore, I did a video on it. But when it's not something I use, it's one of those things I have to take a bunch of time and put into it. And if I'm not going to bother using it, I don't, my heart's not in it to really get down and do a video about it. Yeah, someone said the app is okay, but the mobile app on the phone isn't that good. So, favorite IP cameras? I don't know anymore. Hopefully one of my staff will answer. They have favorites. I don't. I buy whichever ones they want. We have not deployed any of the UniFi 6 access points. They seem to be out of stock a lot, if I'm not mistaken. We go to store.ui.com. They're new, so we're still doing large deployments, and that's not something customers are really asking for. It's something that home users are real excited about. It's the business users. it's not their top priority. They care about reliability and connectivity. Which UniFi 6 is available? XG, SHD, long range. These long ranges are amazing. They're living up to their name. HD base. There we go. Sold out. Sold out. The long range is the one we were kind of waiting for, but yeah. Sold out, sold out. This is one of the problems. This is the same thing with the Protect system. Trying to get a hold of these little cameras, sold out all the time. These are great. I'm shocked at the quality on these little cameras. Even these, the G3s, we did a few more installs. I'm shocked that that's sold out. I mean, that's kind of cool, the G4 PTZ, but yeah. That's that one's kind of pricey. Yeah, I don't think there's any. My friend is they install a lot of Aruba. They've always been happy with it. They said they've been really happy with them overall over the years. That's why they keep going with it. They're another MSP friend of mine. They deployed them at a lot of their clients. Yes, there's a constant shortage of parts right now. So all of us, if you work in tech or automotive, especially in automotive right now, there's definitely a shortage of parts. Can't sell something you can't get. Yep, that's definitely one of the directly related challenges. You are not selling products that aren't in stock. Let's see. I think I've used some of the, if you look at my channel, I've reviewed some of the other cameras. We've used some of the Reolink. We've used some of the Amcrest ones. There's a few other brands. We've used the Hikvision. We order a lot of different ones. Like I said, my staff, I'll do a separate video on it to see, they know I'm not the one setting these up a lot of times. So that's something. Okay. Oh, cool. Miles said Amcrest. Amcrest, we've had some issues with the Reolink. Okay. So Miles chimed in here. Reolinks are the ones that that we had some issues with. I knew some of them they had to send back because they were broke. Actually, I should look. Hold on. There we go. This one's broke. It's a Reolink. This died. And we couldn't get it replaced. I don't remember why they wouldn't replace it. So Reolinks are the ones, don't buy the Reolinks. We've had a few of these die, and this one, for reasons unknown, they wouldn't take back. So, yeah, it was in use for a little while, but they were very, very difficult on any exchange on this one. I don't remember why. They took back some of the other ones. I thought it was making noise, but okay. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it don't work. I just know it don't work, and I had it sitting on a shelf over there. Yeah, the shortage sucks for everything. And now we're working on a hard drive shortage because of the new file mining BS going on. So I guess everyone's jumping into the file mining business and trying to convert all the storage servers to file coin, some type of, is it Chia coin, I think? I don't know. I see more people talking about it. I think if you go to, and we'll pull this up real quick. Or was it on there? There we go. You may have heard about the pending enterprise drive shortage. Due to a recent surge in crypto mining, we are confident in our supply chain to help us navigate this temporary solution. Basically, everyone's buying up all the hard drives to do file mining or something like that. It's all the new rage, you know, crypto this. Elon probably tweeted about it, and next thing you know, hard drives are in short supply. As if graphics cards have, as if graphics cards were really, you know, a thing. So yeah. So now we have a graphics card shortage. Now you're not going to be able to get storage either. So you already angered the gaming market of nerds. Now the data hoarder nerds are going to be angry because the data hoarders are like, hey, cool, we're still shucking hard drives over here. And then the shortage came for the other side. So it's, oh man, it's going to be, yes, it's going to be rough. It's not mining, it's farming. Okay, someone who knows more than me about it. You mining, farming, call it what you want. Yeah, it's going to be another gold rush, and I don't know what exactly it does good for humankind, but someone is going to make money off of it. I've never argued about the money aspect of crypto mining. I still don't understand it, but then again, I don't understand a lot of things people do with file coins and Chia coins and things like that, and the whole NFTs and stuff like that. I don't know. It's not really my thing. So, but it makes somebody happy. That much I can say. Someone's going to make a bunch of money with it. And then all of us suffer by not having hard drives available and video cards available to play games. Like, come on, let us normal people live our lives. What does the blue status bars on the CloudKey Gen 2 Plus mean when regarding coding capacity? I don't know. That might be something I have to add to my video. That's probably a good question. I don't have the answer to that. But winding this down in the last 10 minutes, is there any other questions for Tom? Any last minute things? No one's asked me about pfSense or OpenSense, but I will bring this up because, someone didn't ask, but I'm going to tell anyways. Is this needs to be brought up again. Someone, of course, will be triggered by this. I'm positive and have a negative comment. I didn't even look at my Twitter to see if someone tweeted something negative about it. No one said anything bad. Okay. I'm sometimes surprised when no one has some negative comment. If you read through this, Netgate is still working through the pull requests, looking good, but obviously everyone is being careful here. Development hasn't stopped. Here's the latest project update, and this is a project report on the WireGuard package for pfSense, and I think someone even made a comment in here. Someone said something stupid. Maybe they deleted their comment. They were saying the problem is Jason Domefield's not involved. And I'm like, clearly you didn't read where they're using the code from Jason Domefield that he's auditing and working on. Like, this is actually the WireGuard developer is involved in this. He's not the lead on this, but there is updates. I've tweeted this out. It's on my forums. It says I'm developing a WireGuard package for pfSense. And actually, I'll show you a little clip here. I took down, by the way, because they're irrelevant now, my WireGuard videos for pfSense. But the good news is it works in a very similar way. Come on. Why isn't YouTube going to high res? Go quality. There we go. There are some nuances to the way it's implemented. It's a little bit different, but still pretty cool. I like where they're going with this. And I'm looking forward to this project. So this is going to be pretty cool when it comes out. They're adding a little bit more like last handshake in there and some of the other information. Like I said, excited about this project. Something I will bring up. So let's see. What else do we have in here? No one asked about MikroTik. Right. I haven't done a MikroTik video in a while. I should buy a few more MikroTiks because they are cheap. I don't have this in production. I have it on a shelf because I plug it in when I want to do videos. But I got to admit, this is still a good purchase. This is that little 10 gig one. And this is my point. With this being $129 for 10 gig, I know it's SFP, not RJ45. You got me there. But, 10 gigs for $129. That's a really reasonable price for 10 gig. And that's new. Obviously, used would be cheaper if you can hunt one down. And anyways. Taiwanese versus Chinese technology. I don't know. Probably Taiwanese. It gets suspicious sometimes, obviously, when companies in China have a partnership with the government. If they're doing closed source things where it can't be audited, there's a lot of suspicions that has to be raised. It's a different culture over there. So you just have to make sure you trust the systems coming out of there and what they are and how well vetted they've been. Still waiting on Router OS 7 to check out. I don't even know what version of Router OS they have right now. I'm not a big MikroTik user, so just waiting till it's built into pfSense. pfSense is endorsing they're endorsing it. They're working with them to make it an official package. So it will probably be the way it's activated in pfSense. Oh, Linksys is now Chinese? I don't use Linksys really. I mean, maybe a Linksys unmanaged switch, but I certainly wouldn't recommend a Linksys router. MikroTik has a complicated learning curve. That's the one challenge. Like I don't know. They have. I've heard people tell me that the confusing interface is Latvian logic, and I'm like, well, why don't they just use logic? I don't know why they have to use some different. Like, why don't they have things flow in a more concise way? I don't know. That's my opinion, but hey, whatever. Will the new pfSense images work on the SG2200 appliance? I don't know. I don't know when end of life is for that device. I would probably say maybe, but that's a contact net gate. I don't have any old 2200. TP-Link, I believe, is Taiwanese, but I'm not positive on that. Let's look real quick. Where is TP-Link based? Where is TP-Link based? Okay, they are China. So TP-Link is China, according to Google and Wikipedia. So who owns TP-Link? No, there's a few articles on it. Company profile, company information. Yep, so definitely a Chinese company. Cool. All right, answers that question for those that are wondering. You need to use live chat, not top chat. I am using live chat, so I don't see the difference. You guys should be seeing what I see. Anyways. D-Link is from Taiwan. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Final 3 minutes. What other questions do we have? Anything else? TP-Link travel router. I've seen people do that. I don't travel enough. Well, and then 2020 happened and I traveled less. That's really been an issue. I mean, travel routers are all right, but I have a small TP-Link travel router to use as a DHCP server when I need to get a device at headless servers not connected to the network. Okay. Interesting. I see someone catching up. They say proof of space. Yeah. Yeah, Linksys got sold off. Linksys and Cisco parted ways. They were friends for a little while. TP-Link means twisted pair. Twisted pair link. We'll go with that. Twisted pair linking. Hit a few more likes before we wander off. Do we have a few more people that could smash the like button? Oh, and I haven't forgot about the old hardware from my old hard drive is here. My fidget spinner platters are here. I'm still thinking about doing the old tech video, so that's definitely something there. Why does nobody talk about fiber SAN? I mean, is it not a rare technology? I don't think there's are you talking about fiber channel or just fiber in general? I guess I don't understand the question. So is it, yeah. I don't know how much demand there is for talking about fiber. It's neat. If I was someone who really spent my time terminating fiber, maybe I'd do tutorials on it, but I don't terminate fiber, so I don't do tutorials on it. Fiber channel is widely used, yes. Fiber channel is something different. It's not, I don't know. It's a different topic than just regular fiber, like running fiber between buildings for networking infrastructure. And you don't always use, and more stuff is going to like the 25 gig and 100 gig networking instead of fiber channel is actually what I see more of. No, I don't know any way to back up G Suite to TrueNAS the way Synology does, because TrueNAS doesn't have any native software to do it. So you'll have to find some type of native software in order to do it. So hopefully that makes sense. You'll have to find some type of program to be able to help that. Do I think Mattermost could replace Slack? I don't think you're going to get the adoption. I think you could, if you are like me and own a company and could say, all you employees are doing this, you could do it. I had friends that got on Mattermost and I got on there with them and it was kind of a joke. Look, all four of us are on here. I want to talk to more than the four of you. So I'm on Slack. I'm on Slack because I belong to several different groups of tech forums and things like that. So they're not moving off of Slack. You have to get everyone, all those thousands of people, over somewhere else. So could it replace it? Yeah, but Slack makes it easy and they're already there, so they'll keep using Slack. It's the adoption problem. If no one will adopt the technology, and can the technology scale to a high volume user adoption? Those two things have to converge to make that work. What else do we have? Yeah, our clone can back up a Google share, but that's backing up a Google share. It's not the same as because like for me, the documents are important, but even more so is the even a larger scale, so to speak, of importance is the Gmail. And that's where Synology's got them beat, because it can do entire Gmail backup or Office 365 backups. That's a pretty big deal, because that's where I have more data in Gmail than I do in Drive. We have a lot of important documents in G Suite. We have all of our different job description things and lots of little tech note things. No passwords, don't worry. But we have even like our employee manuals, handbooks, marketing materials in there. Stuff I want to keep, stuff I find important, but also not, not that big. Once you start adding up, if you told me you have a few thousand Excel documents even, that's not that much compared to how much you have in your email. Email is substantially bigger. That's what really needs to be backed up. Yes, Synology is a Taiwanese company. That I do know. I had to look that up. Someone was curious about that, and it was a discussion when we were selling some things. So when we were selling to a client, they wanted to specifically know where they were from. It was I don't know, topic of discussion when we were putting in Synology. But nonetheless, thank you all for joining. It was great having all 200 of you, and even more so the 118 of you that hit the like button. So thank you very much for that. You could definitely put some there. Matter of fact, Corey, if you want to look this up as well, I think someone named Charles said this. There were some tools that I used years ago that were able to import, export. It was all written in Python. It's been a while. I don't remember the name of the project, but it would import and export via API keys G Suite. You could point it at G Suite, like your mail specifically in G Suite, and it would grab it all and do synchronized backups of it. And then it had the ability to push them back if you needed to restore something, and you could store it wherever. We had to do this for a client that made a disaster of their G Suite by losing the main admin account, but we had all the employee accounts. So we were able to use it to back up the employee accounts, then reset up their G Suite and re-push all the mail into the new accounts. So yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Our clone is built into TrueNAS. That's why someone asked about our clone. Our clone is a tool you can use separately as well for backing things up. So hopefully that helps. And hey, thank you very much, Leo. Happy to entertain you. All right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. A few more of you like. Okay. Yeah, our clone is like our sync for our cloud storage providers. That's a good summary. So there used to be a way to mount the Gmail as a file system in there. Yeah, Google, I think, put a kibosh to that one. I don't think that's possible anymore. So yes, there was a time you could do it. So that's, once again, thanks for everyone for joining, and I will catch you next time. Also, check out my video on backing up TrueNAS to Backblaze. That kind of caps off that conversation. And look forward to, if you're interested, I will be doing the updated review on this UniFi NVR that I have in front of me. Well, the UniFi NVR, UniFi Protect platform. And I'll mention this camera, but it's still out of stock here in April 2021. So all I can do is mention it and tell people, hey, you could eventually get these one day. I don't know when that day is, though. Thanks.